Do you ever wonder how it feels to speak English fluently? To express yourself without hesitation, to understand every word, and to talk with confidence? Imagine standing in a room full of people, speaking English as if it were your first language. Can you picture the joy, the excitement, and the sense of accomplishment? But what if I told you this dream is not as far away as it seems? What if I told you that every one of us can speak English fluently, with enough practice and the right mindset? I'm sure many of you are thinking, but I struggle with my English. I make mistakes. I can't speak as fast as others. I don't know enough vocabulary. Well, you're not alone. I've been there. Let me tell you a story that may just change the way you think about learning English. Once upon a time, there was a young man named Alex. He was a hardworking student, but no matter how much he studied English, he couldn't speak fluently. He spent hours in front of books, memorizing grammar rules and vocabulary. He tried watching English movies, listening to songs, and even reading aloud. But still, when it came to speaking, he froze. His mind would go blank, and his words would stumble. Alex was frustrated. He thought he would never speak English fluently, just like his friends who seemed so confident. One day, Alex decided to meet his mentor, a wise old man who was known for his incredible wisdom and experience in learning languages. Alex poured his heart out, explaining his struggles. The old man smiled gently and said, "Let me tell you something important, my young friend. Fluency in a language is not just about knowing words or perfect grammar. It's about the courage to speak, the will to keep going even when it seems hard, and the patience to allow yourself to make mistakes. Fluency is a journey, not a destination." The next day, the old man took Alex to a small cafe. There, he introduced him to a group of tourists who didn't speak Alex's language. The challenge was clear. Alex had to speak English with them, even though he was nervous. At first, Alex was hesitant. What if they didn't understand him? What if he made mistakes? But the mentor's words echoed in his mind. Fluency is a journey. With a deep breath, Alex started speaking. He made mistakes, of course. He stumbled over some words, mispronounced others. But something amazing happened. The tourists didn't care about his mistakes. They appreciated his effort, and they started to talk with him. Alex soon realized that fluency didn't mean speaking perfectly. It meant communicating with others, sharing ideas, and being brave enough to speak, no matter what. After that day, Alex practiced every single day. He spoke with anyone who would listen. He joined English clubs, watched movies without subtitles, and kept speaking, even if it was just to himself. Over time, his confidence grew. The words started flowing more naturally, and he began to speak faster. Alex no longer worried about making mistakes. Instead, he focused on expressing himself, and fluency followed. Now, you might be wondering, what's the secret to speaking English fluently like Alex? It's simpler than you think. The secret is practice. The more you speak, the more fluent you become. The key is to stop being afraid of making mistakes. Every mistake is a lesson. Every conversation is an opportunity to improve. When you practice speaking English, you're not just memorizing words or learning grammar. You're training your brain to think in English. The more you practice, the faster your brain will adapt. Your thoughts will start forming in English, and speaking will feel natural. The words will flow easily, and soon, you'll be able to speak without even thinking about it. It's like learning to ride a bike. At first, you wobble and fall, but with every try, you get better. You build muscle memory. And one day, without realizing it, you're riding the bike effortlessly. That's exactly how speaking English works. Now, let's talk about some tips that can help you become fluent. First, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of the process. They're the stepping stones to fluency. If you're speaking and you make an error, just laugh it off and correct yourself. The more mistakes you make, the closer you are to success. Second, listen a lot. Listening is just as important as speaking. Surround yourself with English as much as possible. Watch English movies, listen to podcasts, and pay attention to how native speakers use the language. Notice the rhythm, the intonation, and the way they form sentences. This will help you understand how English sounds and how to speak it naturally. Third, practice speaking every day. You don't need to wait for the perfect opportunity. Speak to your friends, your family, or even strangers. If you can't find anyone to talk to yourself. Speak about your day, your thoughts, your plans. The more you speak, the more confident you will become. Fourth, be patient with yourself. Learning a language takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. But with consistent practice, you will see progress. Every small improvement counts. Celebrate your victories, no matter how small they seem. Lastly, stay motivated. Set goals for yourself and reward yourself when you reach them. Maybe your goal is to hold a 5-minute conversation in English, or to watch an entire movie without subtitles. Whatever it is, keep challenging yourself. The more motivated you are, the easier it will be to keep going. And remember, you are not alone on this journey. Everyone who speaks English fluently once struggled with it. Even the greatest speakers and writers of the language had to start somewhere. They didn't wake up fluent. They worked hard, made mistakes, and practiced every day. You can do the same. So, Are you ready to start your journey toward fluency? The road might be long, and the path may seem difficult at times. But every step you take brings you closer to your goal. Every word you speak adds to your confidence. And one day, you'll look back and realize that the fluency you've dreamed of is no longer a dream, it's your reality. Now, imagine yourself speaking English fluently. Imagine the confidence, the freedom, and the opportunities that will open up for you. Fluency in English is not just about speaking well, it's about connecting with the world. It's about expressing yourself, sharing your ideas, and building relationships. The world is waiting for you to speak. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start speaking today. Practice every day and never give up. Fluency is within your reach. The only thing standing between you and your goal is your willingness to keep trying. You've already taken the first step by deciding to learn. Now, take the second step, start speaking. Speak to everyone you meet. Speak to yourself. Speak to the world. Every conversation will make you stronger, and before you know it, you'll be speaking English fluently. I promise you, it's not as difficult as it seems. The journey is exciting, and every day brings a new opportunity to improve. So take a deep breath and speak with confidence. The world is waiting to hear your voice. As you take those first steps, I want you to remember one very important thing: perseverance is key. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't seem to improve quickly. It's natural to feel like you're not making progress, especially when the journey seems long. But let me remind you, every expert, every fluent speaker you admire, they've all faced moments of doubt. What makes them successful is that they didn't give up, even when it felt hard. They kept going, day after day, and slowly, their confidence grew. Imagine, just for a moment, the countless opportunities you will have when you can communicate fluently. Whether it's in your career, while traveling, or when making new friends, speaking English fluently will give you the power to open doors that may have once seemed closed. It will connect you to people from all around the world, allow you to experience new cultures, and give you the tools to understand new ideas and perspectives. But here's the thing: fluency isn't just about speaking well, it's about thinking in English. When you reach the point where you no longer translate from your native language to English in your mind, you'll know you've reached a significant milestone. This is when you stop pausing mid-sentence, wondering how to say something. You will start to think, dream, and even feel in English. This is when the magic happens. So, how do we get to that level? How do we train our minds to think in English instead of always translating? One powerful tool is immersion. Surround yourself with English as much as possible. Watch movies, listen to podcasts, and read books in English. Try to learn new vocabulary from what you see and hear. But, more importantly, don't just passively absorb, engage with the content. pause the movie and repeat sentences aloud. Try to mimic the accents, the speed, and the tone of the speakers. This will train your mouth and mind to naturally form sentences in English. Another important tool is speaking regularly, even when you're not sure of your vocabulary or grammar. Let me tell you a secret: nobody speaks perfect English all the time. Even native speakers make mistakes. The key is to be fearless. The more you practice speaking, the easier it will become. You will start to notice patterns in the language, and soon enough, you will be able to use them without even thinking. Sometimes it might feel like you're not progressing fast enough, but remember, fluency is a marathon, not a sprint. Just like the small steps you take when learning to walk, or the practice it takes to become a good musician, your progress in English is built on consistency and time. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and in time, you will see improvement. As you grow more confident, you will also notice that speaking English will become a natural part of your daily routine. You'll start using English to express your thoughts, your feelings, and even your dreams. It will no longer be something you do only during language lessons. It will be something that's part of who you are. Fluency will become an extension of your personality. But don't stop there. Keep challenging yourself. Try speaking in more complex situations, such as when explaining your ideas or opinions. Engage in debates, discussions, or even give short speeches to a small group. Each time you do this, your fluency will improve, and your ability to express yourself will grow. One powerful tip is to think in English as much as possible. For example, when you are walking down the street, try describing your surroundings in English. I see a big tree with green leaves. There is a shop selling colorful scarves. The sun is shining brightly. This exercise helps you think directly in English instead of relying on translation. You'll begin to form simple sentences without even realizing it. Your brain will start to process information in English, making it easier to speak fluently over time. I understand that at times you might feel like giving up, especially when progress seems slow. But let me tell you, this: never underestimate the power of persistence. Every small step you take brings you closer to your goal. If you practice just a little bit every day, whether it's speaking for 5 minutes, reading a paragraph, or learning 5 new words, that effort will accumulate over time. 1 year from now, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. Every time you speak, whether it's to a stranger or to your reflection in the mirror, you are improving. Each conversation, each sentence, each word that you speak builds the confidence and skills necessary to become fluent.